What up, everybody? Give me a second, we're gonna get going here. Let me get my whiteboard because we're going through some examples. Oh goodness, that's not even close to low enough, huh? Alright, we'll get there. Don't worry, it's just a quick adjustment. Boom. Y'all can see I'm doing some planning. Get rid of all this. These are the secrets, guys. These are the secrets I don't tell you. No, I'm just kidding. They're not secrets. I just like to make you think they're secrets. Maybe they are secrets. Maybe you should come back, or maybe you should watch more. You'll never know if they were secrets. Maybe you will. Get a level on it. Alright. Still not low enough. So we're going to go down a little more. Alright, ladies and gents, so tonight... Whoops, going the wrong way. Okay, we're good now. Move this over a little bit. Cool. So tonight, we're going to be going over building Facebook audiences in Facebook, obviously. So we'll get started here in just a second. I'm going to get myself situated a little bit. Just got done eating dinner, so that's why you can see I'm running around a little bit. What's going on, Justin, Clayton? What's happening? Good to see y'all here again, paying attention, taking notes, hopefully. Get this over here. I gotta be able to see the recording live, so that way I know if it's messing up or not. Alright. Cool. I have a piece of chicken in my teeth. We had chicken, not like chicken salad, but like chicken in a salad, like an actual chicken on top, like chicken on top of salad. That's what we have for dinner tonight. It's pretty good. Gotta eat healthy sometimes, right? Did a vinaigrette dressing. Because with this entrepreneur lifestyle, you guys already know that this stuff gets a little hectic. Alright. Whoops. Let me get over here. Alright. Why is this not showing my viewers? Okay. There we go. Now I can see everything. Alright. I know y'all are going to be interested in this stuff, so I'm waiting for people to get in. Jamie, hi. Alright, guys. So we're going to go ahead and get started here in just a bit. Let me give you guys some quick updates. So we're only going to be doing live videos now on Thursdays. So you guys make sure that you're here on Thursday nights. Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is when we're going to be doing our YouTube live events. So you guys make sure you're here for that. Otherwise, you're going to be missing out on a ton of really great content. Other thing I want to mention is our monthly mentorship program. You guys missed a hell of a video. We walk through the 9 steps to running a Facebook marketing campaign, like from step 1 to the final step, what you need to do to actually set the campaign up. I'm thinking actually I'm going to put it in my marketing school course. So that's the thing, guys. You get in the marketing school course, sometimes you get some extra bonuses. But yeah, I'm probably going to end up putting that course or that video in the marketing school course under the Facebook section, but it was a really, really great video. Everybody in the mentorship course loved it, and they got access to it right away. So if you guys are looking for a mentorship program or something like that, something to, keep the training going and to learn some more of the in-depth information that you really need to know and how to scale your business, how to learn Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing, email marketing, all of that type of stuff. If you guys are looking to learn this material and get the hands-on walkthroughs, you're looking for that mentorship program, I'm telling you. And the cool thing is you'll get your first month 50% off. All you have to do is look down in the description of this. It's like the second thing written in the description. You can go and get 50% off today. So your first month is only $50 and you get 4 live training sessions with me for about anywhere Like, we've been averaging about 40 to 45 minute long live sessions where we're doing straight training the whole time, and you get access to those videos afterwards. You get to download a copy, you get the document that we used for the video, so like the 9 steps to creating those Facebook ads. And the cool thing is, if you get in now, you get all of last month's stuff, so you better hurry up and get in now, otherwise you won't get access to it. But let's go ahead and get into this lesson really quickly. Get my notes, just zoom in on them. Oh, not me. I don't need to see me more. So, another quick update, guys. We hit, finally, 1 million minutes watched. It was insane just to see that actually happen. Never thought that we would have 1 million minutes watched, but that's definitely a milestone that I've been trying to hit, getting up to that point. Now it's on to 10 million and 100 million. But really, the bigger thing is obviously the views, because YouTube's all about getting views. So let's go ahead though and get into this Facebook lesson. So understanding basically, how to select the right type of Facebook audiences. Okay, so you have to understand a few different things before you can even start selecting. Dave Rick, that's an interesting first name. What's up, Dave Rick? How you doing, man? But understanding the business, the products, and the services, that's kind of the first part you want to start with. Okay, so before you can even start to build the Facebook audiences, before you understand what the audiences that you should even target are, you have to understand the product and the service. So you should ask yourself some questions like, does the business operate primarily online, or are they more of an in-store brick and mortar type of business? Is the product expensive, or is it super cheap? Does it have a long sales cycle, or is it a shorter sales cycle that you're working with here? So is it a product that's, something you can sell every single day, to brand new viewers, or is it something that you're going to have to take some time to build a relationship and to nurture those leads that you get into customers that you're, sending ads to? Well, they're not customers yet, they're leads that you send more ads to turn into customers, right? So understanding those few things up front is where you need to start. Once you understand that, then the best thing you can do for yourself is building a customer profile. And again, if you haven't seen my customer profile video, we have one on YouTube that you can go check out, building the customer profile. But all you have to do is understand that it's taking the age, the gender, the income level, their interests, their behaviors, websites they've used, magazines or news articles, what their education level is. It's all of the information that makes up your audience, right? So with our real estate agent that I'm working with, oh yeah, this marker sucks. So with the real estate agent that I'm working with, that I just recently had picked up, or one of the 2 that I have recently picked up, they have a target audience. So when I first talked with them, their target audience was people who were in their, early 30s to probably about 55. Maybe a little bit older, but most likely not. It was 30 to 55. On Facebook, this was something that they noticed. They got about 50-50 male and female. But in general, when they were receiving leads outside of that, so call-ins, people sending emails, stuff like that, they were getting women. So phone and email, right? So this is telling me a lot about who their makeup is. Now, outside of that, they told me that their average home ranges anywhere from 300 to 750K. That's the average range of homes that they sell. So what they know is, given this value right here, that the average income for their audience is usually around 125 to 350K at average, right? Because you would have to make at least this much to be able to afford a home that is at least that much, right? Because again, this is the average. They sell some homes that are higher. Like I just listed a home yesterday for them that was $875,000. So that was more on the high side. So we had to target even audiences, even smaller audiences, because not as many people make this much money, plus the audiences that are making like 500K plus, and then between there it's like 350 to 499. So those audiences, they're making a lot of money. That audience is very small. But understanding this gives me a better idea of who I need to target on Facebook, because if they're selling a home that's 500K, right? I don't want to target the audience that doesn't make, at least probably, high 100s, so, 175K plus. If they don't make between 175K to probably like 300K, they can't afford this home right here. They have to make at least that much. And then you have to also consider that people who make more than that might not want a home that's only $500,000. They might be looking for something that's a little bigger or a little nicer. So you have to understand your audience to be able to market to them properly. So doing this customer profiling, doing this breakdown, lets you know who your audience is a little bit better. So you have an idea of what their interests will be when we go into targeting. So we'll talk about the targeting here in a second. All right. So that's some of the stuff about demographics. Now, the next thing I want you guys to understand, and I get a lot of questions on this, is the difference between custom audiences, lookalike audiences, and saved audiences, right? So we have custom, lookalike, and saved audiences. Now, here's what you have to know about these. Basically, custom audiences are just audiences that you create yourself from past traffic. So this generally uses pixel data. You could do Facebook page engagements. Sorry. All right, Facebook page engagements. You can do Instagram. You can do what else? A file upload. So if you have a customer file, which that is something that I recommend you do every time you bring on a new customer. You need to get their customer list, their email list, their leads list, and you take those and you put them on Facebook as audiences. Like, that's one of the first things you need to do when you start setting up their ad campaigns. All right, so that's basically custom audiences right there. These are audiences, again, that you create using data from either their Facebook page, their Instagram page, their website via the Facebook pixel, where you're collecting that traffic and saying, okay, well, this is this type of audience. They visited our blog articles, or they visited our add to cart page, or they visited, whatever page that they visited, whatever you're trying to track. That's what a custom audience does. Now, a lookalike, here's what's really cool about this. A lookalike takes event pixel data and makes an audience that will be similar to the data you collected. So let's say, let me move this down actually. All right, so let's say with the lookalike, or let's say to get this lookalike audience, you had a product for dog toys. We'll just keep it simple. Dog toys, right? And you sold 100 of them. All right, so let's say you collected the email addresses of 100 people who bought that dog toy, right? So what we can do, or you not necessarily collected email addresses, but you had the event pixel installed on your order confirmation page. Basically, that's what you would do, or in line with the button click on your order page. And it would track those 100 people who purchased that product and say, okay, they have a Facebook account, track to your pixel data, cool. We know those people like this specific interest. So if they like dog toys, obviously that's one interest. But here's another thing. They could like Purina, right? They could like, Blue Buffalo. They could like, any other, Rover. I know Rover is a dog brand and they make like dog leashes and stuff. But they could like any of these other things. They could also like hiking, outdoors. All right, so this is all things that you would want to take into consideration, that Facebook is saying, okay, this group of 100 people had all of these interests in common. This is what's important about a lookalike audience. Sorry, it took a little bit to build. Facebook takes a look at this 100 people and says, okay, these 100 people have all of these interests in common. Go out on Facebook and find other people who have these exact same interests in common, but who also have, a past history of purchasing things online. That's a big thing that lookalike audiences are key for, and what I want you to understand is their good or their use is for cold traffic. So whenever you're trying to drive cold traffic to your site, whenever you're trying to find basically new customers, that's what a lookalike audience is for. You're not going to use it for retargeting. It's all for new traffic. So just keep that in mind when you're building lookalike audiences. All for new traffic. Alright, and then we have saved. Saved is very basic. You guys probably understand saved. Basically, this is, when you create interests. Alright, so you create interests or interest groups. If you guys have seen any of my other training about interest groups, basically an interest group is just a group that you create on Facebook to get cold traffic as well. It's kind of like a lookalike audience, but you use specific interests. So, for example, with pizza, you could find, a specific pizza page that only pizza lovers would like. If you're trying to sell like a pizza machine, that's better. Let's say it's a pizza making machine, right? And you're trying to sell this pizza maker to people. Well, who are the people who are going to buy that? People who like to cook, also probably pizza enthusiasts, especially if it's like a cool little knick-knack or something like that. So what would you do? You'd target people who have interest in not only Papa John's, right? But you would but narrow that audience by people who like Papa John's and Domino's. And then you could narrow it further by people who like Papa John's, Domino's, and Pizza Hut. And then you can keep narrowing that audience to get to the people who truly love pizza, who you know for a fact they love pizza so much that they'd buy anything with a pizza sticker on it, right? So that's what saved audiences are. It's just for building interest groups so that way you can, again, drive cold traffic to your site. So that's that part. Now, let's go through some of the other pointers, basically the different parts to the audience, all right? So locations. One thing, again, that you want to keep in mind when you're doing your audience targeting is that not everyone is fit to be advertised to in a specific location. So just because you put the radius around, say, like for me, if I were to put it around Atlanta, doesn't mean that I necessarily want to target everybody that's in that area, because there's people who are traveling in that area. They target people who have recently been in that location. They have ways to target people who live there, and then everyone in that location, right? So you want to be specific with your targeting up front. You need to understand that if the customer is only selling to people in this area, then you should only be targeting people in that area. You shouldn't target people who are traveling there unless it makes sense. So, for example, restaurants. Restaurants are okay, especially a big city. They get, a lot of tourists, people traveling through. You can target anyone in that location because anyone driving through there who's on Facebook might be interested in trying to get some food there, right? So that makes sense. But an insurance agency is not going to tag or advertise to everyone in that location. That just doesn't make sense. You're going to want to probably advertise to people who live directly in that location, because if, let's say, they're out of state, you can't even sell that person insurance. So why are you advertising to them, right? So locations, those are huge. Next thing is obviously the specific geolocation. So again, just picking like where they live and making sure that you understand that you're not going outside of where that customer would typically come from. So for example, again, with my real estate agent, write this again. Should have just left it. All right, with my real estate agent, what we've found with real estate is that basically people are 2 to 3 times more likely to move within their own county. All right, so what does this tell me? This means that I probably shouldn't set up a targeting range that's outside of 10 miles or 15 miles. and you'll want to find information like this and talk with the business owner and say. So again, the other day when I was doing a video, I can't remember which video it was, but we were talking about car dealerships. Car dealerships will attract people up to hundreds of miles, sometimes thousands, depending on the amount of money that person tends to save or stands to save, because you can get, I know this happens a lot in my area, so people will drive from the Atlanta area down to this place in Miami that is basically a parking lot. All it is car dealerships down there, but they sell them at such a great value that you can save $2,000 to $3,000 driving down there to go get a car. So the cost to get down to Miami, you could even fly down to Miami for $400 and take a nice trip if you wanted for an extra $100, and you're still walking away $2,500 richer, maybe $2,000 richer, because of where you went and bought the car, right? So they can attract people from a whole region if they have the budget. But again, it depends on the customer's budget. It depends on past customer data. If they know that they get 20% of their sales from if I had a dealership that I was working with in Florida, right, and I knew that 20% of their sales were coming from Georgia every year, I do 20% of the marketing budget in Georgia. That only makes sense. I might even do a little more than 20% to try and see if I can expand that reach in the state of Georgia, so that way we can get more customers, right? So it all depends on where they are at, geographically, but you also have to understand where their customers are coming from to buy their products. When my real estate agent told me that most of the people that purchase homes from her come from the same county, that means that when I go into targeting, I'm not just the first thing I'm gonna do, especially if you have a smaller budget, focus on what works. Don't try to always get creative and try to go out and find new ways to find new customers. If they tell you that they have something works and they don't have a big budget, stick with what works and just make it better. So that way you get better results for them. That way you can show them, okay, at least I can get your results. Let's increase the budget and I'll show you what I can do with the bigger budget, right? Next thing is going to be age. And again, age is super important. You have to hit the people who it matters to. I don't advertise my courses and my programs and all of that stuff to people who are in their 50s, just because the majority of people in their 50s don't care. Not saying that because I believe I have a few people in their 50s in my course, but it's not the majority by any means. The majority of my students are around 25 to 34, 33, something like that. And it's because you guys are about at the same stage where you want to make something of yourself. You guys are just, super driven because you're at that stage in your life. So you want to do something about it. And this is a perfect way for you to do it. So anyways, next thing, obviously gender, male, female. That's pretty straightforward. Do men buy it? Do women buy it? If both buy it, but there's a majority, obviously focus more of your budget on the majority and focus the minority of your budget on the minority of the viewers, right? There's a language setting. Be very careful with using language settings. The only reason you would want to do that is if, for example, there are some insurance agencies in my area that cater heavily to Hispanics, because there's a Hispanic population around here. So if you wanted to, you could easily set the targeting or the language targeting, to people who speak Spanish. And that way, they track all of this stuff online. They can tell whether your computer is set in English or in Spanish. So if they know that, and that these people speak Spanish, and this person has someone at their insurance agency who speaks Spanish fluently, a majority of their customers are Hispanic, that's going to make for a better connection. It's going to make for a better result, right? Actually, I strongly recommend that. If you guys are in an area where it's a diverse population, like Atlanta's got so many different cultures around, that's why I love it. But there's so many different cultures in this area, you can kind of take advantage of that opportunity, because those because they're considered minority cultures, just because there aren't as many as other cultures around here. But you can take advantage of those situations because of the fact that they need help, and they need someone who can help them and also speak their language while doing it, right? So they're using that as an advertising kind of promo, or not really promo, but a hook is a great way to get new customers for that specific type of business. Detailed targeting. So again, use this to customize audiences further. Segment your audiences by narrowing the field, and again, that's doing multiple combinations. So understanding the combination approach. Let's talk about that really quick. The combination approach is something that if you're not using, you're definitely wasting budget. You're wasting some of your money because this allows you to get to the customers who, again, are most qualified. So, what I'll show you is let me think of a quick example. I'll show you guys what I do to target you guys online. So, when I try to find new customers for my marketing school, stuff like that, one of my targeting groups that we use in Facebook ads it looks like this. We take people who like Tai Lopez, Gary Vee. We'll just stick to 4 because there's like 12 of them. Tai Lopez, Gary Vee. We'll say Grant Cardone. And then we'll say Neil Patel. I can't remember. It's N-E-I. I don't know why his name even came to the top of my list. He's a very good marketer. I just didn't think I would think of him. All right, so let's say we have these 4 people right here, right? So what is combination targeting? Basically, what we're going to do is say Tai Lopez, I don't know his exact number, but let's just say, to make it easy, he has 1 million followers on Facebook. Gary, let's say he has 2 million. Grant Cardone has 500,000. And Neil Patel has 200,000. Alright, so what would we do here? Basically, what I would do is I would take, Gary has 2 million, right? Well, 1 million is close to 1 million, or 2 million is close to 1 million plus 500 plus 200. That's about 1.7 million, right? So what I would do is I would say people who like Gary Vee, but also like, and this would be where you put Tai, Grant, and Neil. Okay? So why is this more of a qualified audience than just putting all 4 of them in one category? Well, because when they like Gary Vee and they also like this, or this, because again, it's not all 3 of these, they have to like Gary Vee they have to like Gary Vee and they have to like one of these 3. They don't have to like all of them. What you could do, what I do once I get down to it, let's just make these numbers a little bigger. Let's say Tai, I don't know, he has 8 million. Gary has 10. Grant Cardone has 7. And Neil Patel has 6. So at this point, those are pretty large audiences, right? So what I can do is I can actually make the combination a little better. What I'll do is I'll take people who like Tai and Gary and Grant and Neil. So they have to like all 4 of these to be able to qualify for this audience that I'm creating. So by the time it all came down, it'd probably be like 200,000 people. Maybe. And, I don't even know if it would work like that in real life, just because I don't think their audiences are that large. I know Neil Patel's isn't, and I know Grant Cardone's probably isn't. But anyways, it wouldn't come down to be about 200,000 if you do all 4. I think when I tried it before, I got up to doing 3 segmentations, and that was using all of the audiences. But it allows you to know, who your most qualified audience is, because you get people who are, not only like 1 or 2, but they like 1, 2, or 3, or they like, again, more than 1. Really, that's the goal, is to get more than 1 combination. If you can get 2 combinations of interest that they have and segment those out, it's going to make for a better audience, I promise. All right. So that's some of the segmentation, or audience combinations, or that's kind of the strategy behind audience combinations. Let me see what's next. Narrow audiences and then exclude. So again, with the real estate. All right, with the real estate, what we want to do with the real estate agency, and you guys can probably apply this to your customers. I'm just doing this because it's fresh in my mind, but with real estate agents, we exclude other agents. Because other agents, for some reason, think it's a good idea to go on there and fill out a form that's an ad that this real estate company is paying for to tell them that they're interested in seeing a home, when all they have to do is probably pick up the phone and call them because they probably have a relationship with them. So it's a waste of budget for us to target those people, basically. So we have a whole list, a database of basically agents that they work with. We upload that into their audiences ahead of time, and then we use that to exclude agents in the future so we don't target them and waste budget, right? So exclusions, definitely an important part of it. You need to be using exclusions. You don't want to target people that don't matter. If you're selling a product online and you have a list of people who've purchased that product, you should probably upload that list into the exclusion thing so you don't waste budget on them, right? Let me see, connection types. Connection types is basically you can talk to people with how they're connected to you. So it could be if they like your page, you can target people who like your page. You can target people who like your pages. This is hard to word. People who like your page, you can target their friends, and then you can target friends of friends. So I think that's the third one. Let me look at it real quick because I forgot. I think it's friends and friends of friends. I can't 100% remember. I just use the one for people who like my page the most, and then friends of people who like my page. I use those two a lot. I don't really use the third one too much, so I always forget which one it is. Let me see which one it is. It's people who like your page. Exclude people who like your page. That's what it is. Oh, I didn't even know that was there. I just do the list. Well, looky there. I learned something today. You can also do apps. You can do events. You can do advanced combinations, which that gets a little bit trickier. People who are connected to specific pages. You can do multiple pages. It just gets a little bit trickier. But that's if you own multiple online stores or if you have multiple locations, stuff like that. You can definitely utilize that for selecting ad placement or selecting your connection types. The next thing we're going to get into is placements, which is why I probably said that. So placements are pretty important. Basically, you need to understand that there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's the audience network, and then there's Messenger, right? So all you need to really know is that with Facebook, the majority of your ads are going to go in feeds. You can test doing other things like instant articles, in-stream videos, right column, and suggested videos when they have a large budget. So I would say if they don't have more than, $2,000, maybe a little less than that, maybe more than $1,500, you don't want to test too much of the right column or in-stream videos, instant articles, stuff like that. You'll primarily want to focus on feeds. But once they reach that $1,500 threshold with just their ad budget, not their monthly management fee, just their ad budget, once they reach that threshold, then you can probably start to increase the amount of ads that you put in the right column or in stream videos, instant articles, things like that. Instagram, pretty straightforward. You have feeds and you have feed ads and you have stories. So feed ads are pretty, they're basically the same thing as Facebook ads. They're a little different because the way that Instagram is set up is a little different. So like sizing, the aspect ratio, that type of stuff is a little different. What I would recommend is looking more into the story side of things because not a ton of advertisers use Instagram stories. And Instagram stories is a popular place for people to upload those things now. They're not just using Snapchat anymore. So that placement is still very effective. Audience network, again, this is for higher budgets. So again, when you're on Facebook, most of what you're going to be doing is either via Messenger now, or it's going to be in the Facebook feed where you're placing the ads. So let me see, audience network, Messenger. Make sure you're doing some Messenger ads. You're testing Messenger ads. Those are super important, especially here in the near future, because of the fact that the Messenger notifies you when you get a message. Messenger bots are really cool. Definitely check those out. And then the last part that I want to talk about is the devices and operating systems. So you guys need to understand that, you know, not every experience is going to be good on desktop, and not a lot of customers use desktop for every platform. So what we've learned, or at least what I've learned about my real estate client, is they have about 70% of people looking at their site via mobile. So we can, you know, stop spending money on as many desktop ads and start promoting it through mobile, and we should get a better ROI based on that spend, because we know that people are much more likely to convert when they come from mobile as opposed to desktop. You can use those statistics to cater to your campaigns and to make sure that you're moving your campaigns the right way. Cool. So that was it for today's video. I hope you learned something today. How far are you from Peachtree City? Chandler, I used to live in Fayetteville, bro. But yeah, I have plenty of friends in Peachtree City. I believe if you look back a little bit, you can see where I'm sitting at the Taco Mac in Peachtree City. He said, damn. Yep. Never knew you were so close, did you? Alright, guys. You used to live in Peachtree City. Chandler, shoot me a message on Facebook. I'm hopping off, buddy. My Facebook link is down below for my business page. Just shoot me a message there. We can chat real quick. I'm hopping off, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed all of the video that we did today. Check the links below. You're missing out on some free content, some really cool promotions down there. If you don't, you know, utilize those descriptions, that's what they're there for. They give you all the free stuff, all of the promotions, everything you want right down there. Outside of that, guys, again, we are not doing Sunday lives anymore. We're going to be sticking to just Thursdays because my busy schedule needs to free up some time, and YouTube lives are taking up a lot of that. So we're going to do the regular content per usual, and we're going to do YouTube lives on Thursdays like I mentioned. So I will see you guys next week. Until next time, Serial Entrepreneur out. Later.